Welcome back to Nuts on Cars. So here at James Nut Cars, we have taken in part exchange a 2018 Honda Civic Type R. So I thought it'd be rude not to put a review together whilst it's with us. Now, I'm probably more of a Golf R type of customer, or an M140. I've always known these have been really good and extremely good to drive, but I've never kind of been drawn to them. So I'm very interested to see what I think in comparison. I have driven the likes of the BMW and the Golf, so yeah, be interesting to see. So, as I say, 2018, 42,000 miles, and it's up for 23,995 with full Honda service history. Lovely example, finished in the best colour combo, I think. So you don't need a wacky colour on these because, as you can see, it looks pretty bonkers as it is. And that's the first thing it kind of gets you really, is the angles, the bonnet scoop, the carbon sort of lips going all the way around the car. It really is properly in your face. And it seems to have had quite a bit of criticism for that, but I'm okay with it. It's a Honda Civic Type R, it's Japanese. Like, for me, that's how it should look. So yeah, as I say, we've got the bonnet scoop, we've got vents everywhere. It's wider than a normal Civic. They've put some fat arches on it to accommodate for the 20-inch wheels. We've got some fancy angles here around the back. On the rear arch, it kind of just disappears, which is a bit of an interesting design, but again, it just seems to work for me. We've got some fancy aerodynamic vortex on the top. We've even got a wing on top of a spoiler already. And all these styling details that have been introduced on this FK8 shape, apparently according to Honda, are purely aerodynamic. So they're not just for show. So I think that makes it acceptable. And it has got a top speed of 170 miles an hour. So it is pretty impressive for a hatchback. So we'll have a little look inside, see what it's like in there, and then we'll take it for a spin and see if it lives up to the way it looks. So, what's it like in here? Now, first thing is the seats are up there with the best I've ever sat in. I love the way they look, I love the material, and then just the way they the way you just slot straight in is, yeah, as good as it gets for me. And then, again, everything from the off just seems to be exactly where you want it to be. You've got a lovely high center console, so you literally just put your arm out and you're straight on the gear lever, which is a lovely cold metal as well. And then driving position, as I say, steering wheel nice and thin. You just feel at home, as if you are in a proper driver's car straight away, without really having to, sometimes you just have to kind of keep adjusting. This one just feels, they've just got it absolutely spot on. So yeah, seats amazing in the front. I'm not sure what happened in the back because I feel like they could have carried on this kind of red theme. It's as if they kind of gave up with the back seats and just put normal Civic ones in. So that's a little bit disappointing for me. But then for me, that's when the positives start to end in here. It's interior fit and finish is below par. Compared to the Germans, they are absolutely miles off it in my eyes. It does feel cheap. It feels quite dated for a 2018. And I know that's just not what you get with a Honda and a Japanese car, but it just is disappointing in my eyes. I actually had a courtesy car Honda Jazz recently, and I was really impressed with the interior. So they can do it, and whether it's for lightweight reasons, but personally I'd rather have another 50 kilograms of more expensive premium products and suffer the consequences weight-wise. But yeah, so it is a little bit disappointing. Things like the sat-nav feels like something you would have bought 10 years ago from Halfords. It's sort of difficult to navigate around and just feels old-fashioned, but I presume with time you probably would just get used to it. But compared to other stuff like the Germans, as I keep mentioning, they are just behind in this department, and it's the only thing really that kind of lets it down in here, because the way everything is, how everything kind of is set up for you is absolutely spot on. But yeah, just slightly disappointing in that department. So will it make up for it on a drive? Let's see. So what's it like to drive? So first thing you notice when you get in is you've got three modes. You've got comfort, you've got sport, and you've got race. And I honestly thought this car would be bone-shattering, like harsh, noisy, but actually in comfort mode, it actually feels very supple. And so, yeah, it's properly surprised me how usable it is in terms of just normal driving. It's nowhere near as harsh as I thought it might be. And then the other thing which has kind of surprised me as well is just how good the gear change is. I literally find myself changing gear for the sake of it. It is probably, if not the best, one of, if not the best gear changes of anything I've ever driven. It's short, it's crisp, it's precise. You've got a lovely metal gear lever. It really is. And then because the Hisense console, it's literally exactly where you want it to be. And so, yeah, with the rev matching as well, which, I mean, it's nice to heel and toe, but I just think it does a much better job, and it's so instant that you just can't help but keep using it. So even in comfort mode, it's blipping the throttle for me. But yeah, if we put it into race mode, it's so fast. And it's so short geared, so you're again so busy with that gearbox, which is exactly how you want it to be. I mean, it's quite firm in race mode. We're kind of bobbing along the road here. But like all good hot hatches, every time you jump in it, and I don't drive like a nutter most of the time, but this car just brings it out of you. It literally, it's an absolute joke down a country lane. I honestly cannot get over it. I mean, hot hatches are always, no matter what you've driven, are always up there with the best cars, because it's just something about them down a country lane. I mean, this car is quite big compared to the old stuff, but you can still chuck it round, dive in and out, and it's just, I don't know, I'm absolutely blown away by how this thing drives. The way the steering in sport mode is quite heavy and a little bit numb, as all electric steering is these days, but I mean, second gear, it's front wheel drive, there's a limited slip diff. I've driven it in the wet, and the traction is literally phenomenal. It's so quick. You literally do not need, I promise you do not need any more power than 320 horsepower in a hot hatch. It really is phenomenal. And as I say, I've heard good things about these things over the years, but I didn't think it would be this good. So sound-wise, it's a fair amount of engine noise, but I expected a little bit more from the 3 exhausts, if I'm honest. It's actually quite quiet. I mean, it's a nice sound, and there's a fair amount of vibration through the cabin, which just makes it feel that extra bit raw. But actual exhaust, I would love on those rev matching down changes, some pops and bangs. And I just, being the way it looks and being a Civic Type R, I thought that's what it would be. It's not a bad noise. I'm not majorly disappointed. I kind of just expected a bit more, I suppose. But yeah, as I say, the traction, I mean, it's got Michelin PS tyres on it, which is doing it a favour. But first gear, point it straight. And it absolutely just hurtles you down the road. The brakes are good. I don't know, I've driven some nice stuff, but this is on another planet. It's got that turbo boost in the mid-range, but then with the VTEC it just keeps going as well, so you've got the best of both worlds. I know the old ones are always a little bit criticised for just being a bit flat and lacking that low-end power, and you're having to absolutely strain its neck to get anywhere, but this is just, I mean, from 3,000 it just keeps going all the way to 7, and then, yeah, it's properly special. It lives up to all the hype. As I say, I've driven Golf Rs, GTIs, M140s. This is on another planet for sheer driving thrills, and it just makes you think, God, I need to get it on a track day or take to the Nürburgring, because that's exactly where it belongs. But as I say, it's also very usable and enjoyable on the road. It's so quick. What a car. So there we are. There's a quick review on the FK8 Civic Type R. Absolutely blown away by how mind-bendingly good this thing is to drive, but also how usable it is and how supple it is in comfort mode. So it's not quite as brash and as harsh as I thought it would be. So yeah, some plenty of good surprises. The interior is an issue for me. The interior quality really does let it down. For me, my hot hatch would still be I'd want it to be the car of choice if you go out for a nice meal, and this just really isn't very good at that. But what it lacks for in that department, it makes up for in plenty of others. So yeah, amazing car, 10 out of 10, very special thing. So if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see some more, make sure you subscribe. I'll pop our details in the bio below, so james.cars. If you're looking to buy, to sell, anything we can help with, give us a shout, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for watching.